Okay, this is a continuation of video A. Several hours after the fact, I'm going to be speaking a little more quietly here. It's 3:37 in the morning. I'm in an air-conditioned apartment, so the window's open, and I don't want to, you know, wake anybody up or anything like that. So, I believe I left off about not bringing up your baggage in your current relationship if you can avoid doing so. Um, there's There was something else that I wanted an opinion on from my viewers as well. Kaz, thank you for commenting on my last video. See, in this last relationship, the girl had a couple of kids. They were like teenagers already, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush too much. I really liked them. I thought it was cool going to do things with them and everything like that. I liked all the things we went and did together. Um, for a short time, at least, I really felt like part of a family, and that was really, really nice. Um, it had been a long time for me for something like that, and our relationship didn't really last long enough for me to quite get used to it, but I was almost there. And one thing that I tended to notice was that, well, let me just put it this way, and I'll put it to how people, I'll put it the way people have put it to me. You can't really be jealous of someone's kids, although it can be hard not to be a little bit frustrating. Um, like I said, I really enjoyed everything we went and did together, but there were a lot of times where their mom and I, their mother and I weren't really getting any time together. I found acclimating to family life to be very exhausting. Um, I also had to move over to her schedule, and she gets about 3 hours of sleep. Three to five being a lot. I survive on about six, which is cutting it pretty close for most people. So cutting it down to five wasn't too hard, but most nights we were getting 3 to 4. So, um, and again, no further beating around the bush. When you have a woman who's a little bit insatiable, she expects some lovemaking to be in there too. And I'm not, I'm not the youngest guy in the world. I'm not the oldest guy in the world, but I'm, uh, I'm, uh, I'm no, I'm not superhuman. If I'm exhausted, it's hard for me to you know, do that. And excuse me. Um, so it was a kind of situation where we would go out and do something with the girls, which was fine, or we'd pick the girls up from school and do something, which was fine, and then we'd come home, and then she would spend the majority of she'd spend time with all of us, including her roommates and stuff, which are her best friend. I mean, she's known them longer than she knew me. Um, and it would get to where I would be doing, housework or cooking dinner, and they would be doing something together, or we'd all kind of be doing something together as a little family or whatever. And the girls they'd be staying up later and later and later. And then, you know, 9 o'clock was generally their bedtime, so to speak, on a school night, um, which sometimes is a little later, sometimes, it was rarely earlier. Um, she and I would jump in the shower together to kind of save water, and we might do a little something in there, to help each other out. Um, but the thing is, we didn't have a bedroom. The living room was our bedroom, so we really didn't have any privacy. If we were fooling around in the living room, there was like a 60% chance that somebody was going to get up. And even though I'm a pretty sexually interested sort of guy, it's not that cool with me for their daughters to get up and see me nuts deep in their mom. And even though, we then started taking over the bathroom as our room to fool around in. And that just got to be kind of gross for me. I'm not sure what other way to put it. Um, I didn't think it was doing very much respect to her. She didn't seem to mind. This girl was pretty insatiable, um, but she didn't seem to mind as much as I did, and I actually got a little rug burn on my knee the last time that we did do that, and like I said, we separated Valentine's Day, and that my knee just healed. It's look at the date. It's like the 23rd of March, and that knee just healed like a few days ago. So I was getting to where I didn't feel like I was all that safe doing that in there. Um, we are both fairly big people, and there was very limited space, and she uh, it was just getting a little frustrating for me. I felt like we needed some time. I felt like we weren't getting any time. Uh, Her days off were largely starting to be spent with her roommates, not so much me. At least not me on any sort of private level. Uh, Basically, once I moved in with her, things sort of and when things started to be about more than sex, I didn't feel as though I was getting the same amount of time. Because when we were just dating and I'd come over to the house, she'd send the girls to bed. She'd be like, you girls take off. Doug came over and spent gas to get here or whatever, and the whole idea is so we can spend some time together. Of course, that wasn't every day, so I guess I can understand that. So I guess the problem is I got a little bit selfish, or I started to feel us growing apart, and I think part of the reason we started to grow apart was because of the lack of intimacy. So I was trying to think about, what to do about it, what to do, and I decided one day to ask for an hour of her time a day. And I talked to her, she's at work at the time, but I talked to her through email and just made sure she'd be okay with it, and she said she was. It was a Saturday, so the girls were home. So I kind of sat them down along with one of the roommates and said, look, this is kind of what we're needing. You know, I'd like to spend some time with your mom every day because we're not getting much private time. Um, and then I sort of feel like I messed up by asking for the hour when I asked for it. Really, really, I screwed up when I asked for it at all. When I asked for time to be taken away from her girls, and that's why I wanted to discuss it with them. And I really thought it was going to go okay because, again, everybody agreed to it at the time. We never ended up getting our hour ever. They always, you know, nobody paid attention to it. They made it sound like they were going to, but really, you know, she really didn't care about it, and no one else cared about it. I seemed to be the only one that really cared. So here's a question for my viewers, and I'd really appreciate some advice on this in case I wind up back with her someday, or I wind up with another girl that has kids, or something like that. How do you ask for time? You know, because again, I love those girls. I think they're great. I really enjoy spending time with them. But I needed some time with their mom, and I didn't really know what to do about it. So, you know, I tried the best thing I could think of at the time, and it ended up backfiring. And ultimately, I think that amount of selfishness, I don't really think it was that selfish, but she viewed it as being pretty selfish, I think. Because I think ultimately, the guy she's with now doesn't really care about that. Like, he'll take it when he can get it, because she kind of is in love with him anyway, so he's won half the battle. I was trying to make her love me, so uh, it was a lot harder. So anyway, what are you guys' opinions on that? You know, what do you do in that situation where you're hungry for attention from your significant other, but you feel like there's family and friends in the way that are sort of allowed to interfere with it, but you know, not really kind of I don't want to say cock blocking, but but you know, it might be that a little bit. Um, and then, like I said, you know, I was really having to fight for her attention on her days off too, which for a while she was spending with me, and then it turned out that she was starting to spend a lot of those with her roommate, and I would have to go along with the crowd, and you know, I kind of was in a situation where I didn't have much money at the time and stuff like that. It was getting to be a pretty awkward situation, and yeah, Valentine's Day. She was talking about spending Valentine's Day with the girls, and I was kind of trying to figure out a way to kind of do both. You know, do a good bit of stuff with the girls, and then have some time for us. But she didn't really uh, seem interested. So I complained about getting our hour the day before. I was like, "We're never gonna get our hour, are we?" Anyway, the uh, the thing I want to know is it a situation where she just didn't feel the same way about me that I did for her, and that's why she didn't want to give me the time? Did I ask for too much time? Should I ask for an hour a week? Would somebody that cared about me a little more have given me the time? Um, you know, what are you guys' thoughts on this? I'm really curious to know. I just you know, like I said, it'd been so. And the other thing is, she expected changes to happen very quickly. I probably realistically needed about 6 weeks to a month of living with them, a month to 6 weeks of living with them to adjust to everything. And uh, she seemed pretty displeased that I didn't have everything down within 2.5, and you know, just decided, you know, just kind of. She seemed to have her foot in the door for a while, you know, maybe since the beginning. But anyway, what I'm really curious about is the time thing. So if you guys could could give me some thoughts or advice on that, I would really appreciate it. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to you.